Hello, this is an opportunity to catch up on the Year 10 Power to Perform evening that we ran with parents in September 2024. Now, the first thing we talked about was the power of parents and them being on board. Research suggests that parents being on board with what their students are doing, or what their children are doing rather, can have an impact of 4 months over those who don't. So it's really critical that you are helpful and can assist at home and support what we're doing here at school. And I do take the point here that we're preaching to the converted because you're listening to this presentation. So thank you. We also need your help with attendance because whilst 95% in a test might be deemed quite good, 95% attendance is not so much. It's half a day of lessons every 2 weeks, 2 weeks a year missed, and actually that's the same number of lessons as almost a whole year worth for one GCSE subject. Time that's valuable, time that shouldn't be missed. And teachers don't have time to go back. They've got these really intense specifications they've got to work through. They won't have time to get your child caught up if you're going to take them on holiday or allow them to have days off here, there, and everywhere. So please do support us. The other bit of evidence that that might be of interest to you is that this is real data based on Year 11's last year, but I have it for the previous few years too. Children with the best attendance, 100% do best in school. No surprises there. But then you'd be surprised, actually, those with 90 to 95% attendance, they drop 0.6 for grade across every subject on average. Those with 80 to 90% attendance knock off a grade in every subject. And those with less than 80% attendance, in other words, 4 out of 5 days attended per week on average, they lose 2 grades in every subject on average. So it's a no-brainer, really. Come to school, you will do far, far better. In terms of punctuality, we have some new rules that we're following, some new government guidelines. Students need to arrive by 8:40 for our registers at 8:45. This is the new bit though. If children arrive to school after 9:15, that will be U-coded. It's an unauthorised absence, and 10 U-codes in a 10-week period will lead to a local authority penalty fine. So we want to avoid that. We want students here in school, learning and being on time. Please support with that. Now, the home-school partnership, as we mentioned, is absolutely critical. Your support at home, backing what we are saying here and supporting us, is going to lead to better outcomes. So making sure they've got somewhere that they can learn at home, keeping us up to date. If there's something going on you think we'd need to know about, do let us know in the same way we would expect to speak to you if there's stuff going on here. And then getting involved, making sure you're attending parents' evening, things like that. If you're interested in becoming a school governor, do get in touch. I think we're recruiting at the moment. Homework. This is something that we really need your help with because, like attending school, doing homework has an impact. And those who do homework religiously, they have a 5-month improvement on those that don't. And this is high impact for low cost. But you've got to make sure they've got the right kind of raw ingredients to do it. Have they got the resources at home? Have they got a place to do it? Have they got the support if they're getting stuck? Not doing it for them, but helping point them in the right direction. And we're going to help by doing something new this year. Not only can you see the homework on the app, which you can have access to, but we're going to report grades on homework this year. So you will get a separate column for each subject saying A, B, C, or D, how well they are doing their homework, or if they're not doing it at all. Look out for that in the first set of reports. Please attend parents' evenings. It's great to see you all, and we know that those that attend parents' evenings, those students tend to do better. Their parents are interested in what we've got to say and how well their child is doing. We also know you've got lots and lots of different roles at home, and some of those might be a bit of a challenge. So what we need though is for students to arrive feeling good, being calm, being effective. And there are some tips here on this next slide about that, being a role model, coping with challenges and stresses, and not losing their temper, for example, setting goals, being active, eating healthily, making sure we're taking time out and sleeping properly. Teenagers need 8+ hours per night. Making sure they're unplugging and not staying on their devices late at night is a common issue for us. People arriving tired because they've not been able to disconnect. Overall, though, being supportive of your child, but also being supportive of the school when we're asking for you to do certain things. Make sure you've downloaded the Arbor app. You can see what's going on: attendance, punctuality, reward points, behaviour points. Check that out. And the next section is about maximising your child's potential. So what else are we doing? Well, just so you know, things are much different in year 10 than year 9. The number of subjects they're doing is reduced somewhat. They have got a real emphasis now on English and maths and science. Many of their lessons there to get those really important core subjects. PE, that's PE for fun, not PE for qualification, and RE, a bit smaller. And then we have time for our personal development program and the 3 options that they've chosen. And that's how they spend their fortnights. Lots of the work they do is on Google Classrooms. Get hold of their Chromebook and get them to show you the Google Classrooms and see the wealth of work and resources that teachers are laying on for them in there. We're also trying to make the most of crew time. 45 minutes every morning. There's lots of opportunities there to push yourself a bit harder. We set goals and we'll continue to do so. And they get coaching through their crew leader or their form tutor, you might have known them as. But we're also going to be teaching them study skills and giving them opportunities for monitored study throughout year 10 so that they can build really good habits into their GCSEs. Now, this is our class of 2026, and we talk to students about being part of a race, not just a race between the people in the room or the people in their year, but actually the other couple of 100,000 students all aiming for the top grades around the country. So we've got some key dates for you here, and you might want to pause and take a photograph of this. We've got our Power to Perform evening in September, which is this. We're going to send some data out towards the end of the month, including the new homework grade. More data in January. At that point, we'll be able to give you a much more accurate reflection of how well they're performing against their targets. I've got a parents' evening in January too, where we can discuss that data. Now in April, we start to look at more formal exams. So in the sports hall and the gym, where we've got a couple of 100 desks, and we start looking at revision strategies in advance of that, getting them prepped for it. We share more data with you in June. We've got our diagnosis, therapy, retesting cycle, which is where we fill the gaps from their knowledge. Work experience towards the end of June for 3 days. And we set work over the summer to make sure they don't slip back between year 10 and year 11. Now, the language of GCSE might be a bit new to some parents. There's lots of terminology that your child might be using. So just a bit of a quick guide here. They might talk about PLCs or personalised learning checklists. This is where they can see really clearly the areas of strength and the areas they need to work on, broken down by subtopics. We talk about exam wrappers. This is a form of metacognition where students learn how to learn. They reflect upon their preparation before and their performance during an exam to see where there are any gains to be made. We also offer walking, talking mocks. This is where a teacher works through a paper, usually with a visualizer, so that the students can see what they're writing for answers, and they pick up tips on how to answer certain sorts of questions and how to use the time effectively. Personal occurrency plans, these diagnose the issues, perhaps after an exam, so which are the areas to improve upon. They'll explain when therapy is going to be provided, and when the retesting opportunity is. This is the point at which we make sure that after all that effort with the therapy, it's now gone in, and we now can tick off these diagnosed issues. We also have intervention assemblies in year 10. These are also a slightly novel approach, things you might not have come across before. We look at everybody's effort and we look at everybody's progress, and we put it on a chart and we decide in these 4 areas who needs different message. So those students with high progress and high effort, they get one message. They need to keep going. We then have students occasionally with low effort, which results in low progress, and they will need a different message. So they go to a different place. Then we have our help students, and they're called help because they're high effort, low progress. In other words, they're putting in loads and loads of time and effort, but unfortunately, they're not seeing the progress that we would kind of hope for. So we need to redirect all that energy in a positive way to the right place. And from time to time, we have a few of these, but they're pretty rare. Low effort, high progress. Each of these students we group into Aspire, Accelerate, Action, and Ambition. And as I say, we have a targeted assembly all about this. So each of those groups gets a different message. Now, towards the end of our Power to Perform evening, our heads of English and Maths also spoke, and Mrs. Wiles, head of Maths, talked through what you can expect to see in Year 10 this year, and you can pause and give that a read through. She also mentioned the kind of actions that parents should be working on, the kind of apps that will be helpful, the resources they might need. And then we had the same for English. So Mrs. Morris talked about what's going on in Year 10 English. Again, pause and give that a read, plus some actions for parents for English. This is a summary of the whole presentation. Thank you for watching.